Hey friends, and welcome to the Paparazzi podcast. Here we chat about all things paparazzi. Tips, tricks, suggestions, and weekly challenges, all to help you grow and explode your paparazzi accessories business to rockstar success. Hey there, rock stars, and welcome back for another episode of the Paparazzi podcast. My name is Anya, and I am your show host. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 mistakes that most direct sellers make and how to avoid them with your paparazzi jewelry business. Before we jump into that, be sure you're following Paparazzi Accessories on Instagram, on Snapchat, on Facebook. They're doing some really fun trainings and announcements on each of these individual platforms, and a lot of times they're not cross-posting them. So if you're not following them, for example, on Snapchat, they just posted a preview of 4 things that are hitting your back office tonight, and they're gorgeous. But if you're not following them there on Snapchat, then you're gonna miss that. So be sure you're following them on there. Another good one to follow them on is Periscope. They did a really fun training this afternoon in Periscope, and it's just kind of fun to get these different avenues, these different trainings from the different founders, the different corporate staff, and everybody over there. So be sure that you're following Paparazzi Accessories on all of the different platforms. They're all over there. If you are busy, if you do not have a chance to take notes, if you're just listening while you're driving or doing dishes, you know what? It's totally okay. I love that you're multitasking. It's how you get more things done, right? I have all of the notes for you, everything ready for you so that you can go back and refer back to these notes without actually having to go sit down and take notes. Head on over to paparockstars.com/10-mistakes for today's episode, but you can listen to all of the other podcasts, download them there, show notes, resources, even a bunch of really cute graphics, memes, and images that you can use like in your Facebook parties, all over there on the website. So be sure and check it out. The page for today's episode again is paparockstars.com/10-mistakes. On that show notes page, we have a quote for today. It's one of the show images. We like to do one per each episode at least for you. The one for today is a quote. She was unstoppable, not because she did not have failures or doubts, but because she continued on despite them. I absolutely love that quote, and it's beautiful. Go over and check it out. Use it in your social media. Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you want to use it, we've made it there for you. Let's jump into the training for today. So I've been in direct sales for over 16 years. Now, don't think that I'm super old. My mom was doing direct sales before I was even old enough to sign up in a company. So I helped her for a really long time. And then as soon as I was able to join my own company, I did. So I've been with several different companies. I've been in direct sales for a long time, and I have seen 10 mistakes made over and over and over again. So let's chat about what these are and how you can avoid them. Getting past these 10 mistakes might take a little bit of time and effort, and I still find myself kind of reevaluating where I am with several of these to make sure that I'm serving myself and my business the best way I can. So just know that some of these are a process and not just like a one-time fix. Number 1 is not asking. Your friends and family aren't mind readers. You need to ask them if they would be interested in hosting a party or if they would come to your launch party or join your business. They aren't just going to make the connection when you start out with your business and be like, oh, hey, I want to do this too. They're going to kind of watch you and just let you do your thing. Ask them. Open your mouth and just ask. Number 2. Afraid of being pushy. Now we're going to do a training specific to this topic. Look for that in an upcoming episode of the podcast. But just to touch on it really quickly. Things that make a pushy person are not the same things that make someone a regular salesperson or someone that's around to serve their customers. So I want you to make a list of things a pushy person does. Maybe not taking no for an answer, not listening to you when you talk, making you buy stuff you don't want. The classic example is the used car salesman, right? Now think about this. Are these things that you do? Most likely not. Pushy people really don't have any kind of a gauge for their pushiness. So the fact that you're worried about being pushy means that you're probably not. Just listen to your friends and family and customers. Help them. Emphasize on the word help. Help them, and you'll never come off as pushy when you're trying to just give service. Another trick with that from founder Misty Kirby is, especially when you're in a booth or at a home party and you're wanting to share and to help people find, what they're looking for. If you see somebody looking at a necklace and you have a cute bracelet or pair of earrings to go with that, grab the earrings, walk over and say, "Don't you just love that bracelet? These earrings go perfectly with it." Hand it to them and walk away. It removes that pressure that you would think, somebody kind of hovering over you. It removes that. So then if they don't want them, they just set them down and then they continue on to the next thing. But it also gives them options. So then you're doing more of the service thing and less of the pushy thing. Number 3, working but not working. So things like making an image or a graphic to use on Facebook, organizing your office or desk, and I say this again in parentheses because I tend to do that over and over and over, recreating a document that you find online that might be useful. These are not going to make you money. Spend your time on tasks that will help you make money, like booking parties, finding and booking events, or talking to people who might want to join your team. This is going to be where you get the biggest bang for your buck and your business is going to skyrocket. We call these income producing activities. Talking to people about buying the jewelry, meeting with people who are interested in buying your jewelry, going to the parties. These are the things that you need to do, not so much the busy work. Now, yeah, we do have a little busy work that we have to do. Like if you make hostess packets, you do have to spend time creating those, putting them together, things like that. Sending out thank you cards. Those are not necessarily income producing activities, but you usually spend just a short time on that. So just be very aware of the time that you're spending on the different activities. Number 4, being a bother. You will never ever bother me with a question that you have. And the same goes for other leaders. If you're on a different team, if you will never bother your upline with a question. Part of what I love doing is helping people in their businesses. So when you have a question, ask. If the kids are screaming in the background or I'm at church or something, I'll get back to you as soon as I can, but don't hesitate to ask. I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what's going on if you don't vocalize. If you're struggling with something or if you have a question, just let me know. It's the easiest way and it's the fastest way to get to the root of the problem or to get you excelling in an area that you might be struggling with. Again, the same goes with all of the other leaders in Paparazzi. I know so many of them and they feel the exact same way. So don't be afraid of being a bother to your leader. It's not. That's what we're here for. That is why we chose to become leaders, because we like helping you out as well. Number 5, do as I say, not as I do. You are an example for your friends and family, so be sure that you're having your own parties or open houses every so often to show them how much fun it can be and how successful too. You never know who's watching you. If they want to join your team or if they're watching to see how easy the parties are. You just never know who is just kind of keeping their eye on you, seeing what things are going on. And you set that example. It's fun. It's a great reason to get together and spread the word about your business too. So don't just be like, hey, everybody host parties for me and never hold your own paparazzi parties. Do your own parties too. Have them over. You could do it as a hostess appreciation sale and have more giveaways than normal. Or have it a theme party. Make it like a pirate party or something, or even a luau. Make them fun, keep them creative if you want to, but just be sure that you're hosting yours every once in a while so that your friends and family can see how fun, how easy it is, and even how much money you're making. Number 6, information overload. Sometimes when I get nervous or excited, I talk way too much. You can probably tell sometimes on the podcast because I get really excited and I can get going a little bit quickly. Slow down, share a little, and then listen. So whether you're talking to someone who's interested in your business or hosting a party, buying jewelry, whatever, try and say 2 to 3 sentences and then ask them a question. This will keep their interest and it's not going to overwhelm them with details. Now, a lot of people tend to get really excited, especially when somebody asks about the business, especially if you're trying to grow your team. And yes, it is super exciting, but you don't want to give them information overload. They'll glaze over and they'll just be like, nope, she's just going to talk like a bajillion words a minute all the time and not really answer any of my questions. It could be a big turnoff. So I usually usually try and keep it short. Like I said, 2 to 3 sentences, responding to whatever question they ask, and then ask them a question. Or even if they say, so tell me more about the business, instead of just jumping in, I'll say, well, do you have any questions for me? Or what would you like to know more about? And then they'll kind of direct the path that little conversation needs to take. So for example, one person might say, well, I'm really interested in these incentive trips that you keep talking about. You're going to Cabo? And I'll be like, oh my gosh, yes, Paparazzi is paying for me to go to Cabo in like 2 months. I can't believe it. I'm so excited. Or if they say, well, do you really actually make money? Then you know that they want to talk about the money because they need a little bit of that. If they want to talk about being a leader or something along those lines, that's what you can focus on. There's so many different paths that you can go down. You don't want to be talking about Cabo if they're not even making their electricity bill every month. Yeah, it might be a cool dream for them, but that's not something that's going to talk to them as much as saying, yeah, I went to a party last night and I came home with $160 in my pocket. I was there for an hour and a half. That's going to be super meaningful to somebody who is really struggling, who needs that cash. A great idea to ask them questions and see where you want to go, where they want to go. Number 7, reinventing the wheel. A lot of times when we're starting something new, we get all excited to find our own way of doing things. Now, while this isn't necessarily a bad thing, we all need to tread our own paths, there are others who have been where you are, where you're wanting to be, where you have been as well. Follow the paths that they've navigated to get the most success most quickly. When you have those basics mastered, then try something new. That's when you can branch out. This is kind of where the if it ain't broke, don't fix it comes in really handy. While there's a lot of great ideas out there, I don't want you to get discouraged if things don't quite work out. Once you've mastered the basics and then have started making great money, that's when you can experiment and discover new ways to make things work out. Things like home parties, events, these are things that people have found lots of success with before. But you don't want to necessarily go open a shop on a cruise line and see if that will work out. And that's kind of a ridiculous example, but you kind of see where I'm going with that. Try things that have worked, try things that are proven, and then branch out into other ideas. Number 8, school's out. There's always ways we can tweak what we're doing in our business or our lives or relationships to make things stronger, make them better. It's important that you attend trainings and find other ways to continue to grow, both personally and professionally. There are so many great trainers and inspirational thinkers that can help you along the way. If you need some suggestions, just ask. I love self-help and books for self-improvement and different things like that. And again, like I said, it's not always paparazzi related. Some of them are just about family or just about relationships or time management, but it's always good to be growing and to be expanding and bettering yourself and your life. So be sure and kind of work on yourself that way. Number 9, no set hours. The best way to explode your business is to decide ahead of time when to work. Choose the days 4 to 6 weeks in the future that you want to work and highlight those days. I actually have a training on this one of our past episodes of the Pop Rock Stars podcast about calendars and how to book that out. So be sure and go look for that. If you search for it in the search bar, it should pop right up for you. Decide what times you want to work and then work it, baby. If you don't have a party or event scheduled and you have that time set aside for work, use it to make phone calls to people who might be interested or who might be past hostesses. This might be one of the biggest things right here. A lot of people, they're just so excited that they can run their direct sales business whatever they want to, and then they don't fit it into their lives. So when you schedule that time, it makes you actually work and it helps you to treat your business like a business. It might be a work at home business, but you still have to choose time to work it. It's not just going to fall in your lap. Finally, number 10, not following up. Now, believe it or not, people are watching you. We talked about this with one of the earlier steps. The things you post on Facebook, the successes, the failures you have. I've had friends and neighbors call me after an entire year and tell me that they want to join my team or host a party. Sometimes the timing is just wrong, and other times people want to see your success before they jump in too. So be open about your business and follow up. When people show that they're interested in hosting a party or joining us, you never know when the timing will be right. So keep following up. The friend that I had a couple months ago who decided to join me in Paparazzi, she'd never bought a piece of jewelry from me before. She asked me once about the business just in passing, and it was something more like, so you like sell $5 jewelry? And I was like, yeah, it's really fun, blah, blah, blah. And then like a year later, she up and joined my team, and I was completely floored. But people are watching you, and you never know who. It's not like they have this light bulb, a pink paparazzi light bulb that will go off when they're watching you, or they'll have some kind of a sign or something. Just be a good example, be aware, and know that people are watching you, that they might never say anything, but that they are watching. So those are the 10 mistakes that most people make, and kind of how to avoid them, how you can get around them. Like I said, these are a process, people. It's not always perfect. I still find myself struggling with the pushy one all the time. And I constantly ask my friends, should I be posting more on Facebook? Should I be posting less? Am I pushing you too much? And I've got some really good friends that will say, no, you are fine. Or, yeah, maybe back it off a little bit. The challenge for today is to choose one of these things that you want to work on. Yes, I did just say one. A lot of times it gets really overwhelming to try and fix everything all at once, and instead we just choose not to start. So choose one of the things that we talked about today and work on getting better in that area. So just one. When you feel that you've accomplished what you want to with that, choose a second. Post what number you're going to work on, or if you don't want to post the number, post what it is, like being pushy, following up. Post it in the comments along with the show notes so that we can see what steps you're taking. It's kind of fun to see what everybody else is working on, and maybe even get some pointers from your fellow listeners. See what they have to say. You guys are so much smarter than I am, and I love hearing what you have to say about it as well. Be sure to stop on over to the show notes page. Again, paparockstars.com/10-mistake. You can get all those show notes, that graphic that we talked about, and let us know what step you're going to be working on for the call challenge. I so appreciate you joining us here today. Hey, if you like the podcast, be sure and stop on over to iTunes. You can subscribe to the podcast so the episodes will come right to your phone. Then you can listen to them anywhere that you are, whether you're driving in the car, doing the dishes, whatever. It'll just be right there on your phone for you. Or it's also available in Stitcher. If you have an Android phone, you could subscribe through Stitcher and listen to it that way. Thanks again for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode of the Papa Rock Stars podcast. Bye-bye.